Borough. The meeting is called to order at 7 p.m. If we can please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I move it.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Borough Manager, may we have a roll call, please? All right, President Allen. Present. Vice President Hill.
Present.
Councilor Bravo.
Present.
Councilor Felder.
Present.
Councilor Smith, excused. Councilor Fleming, excused. Councilor Patrick.
Present.
Mayor Booker.
Present.
Solicitor Miller.
Present.
Treasurer Morgan.
Present.
Engineer Lynch. Excused. Code Officer Collins. Building Code Official Tartaglia, excused. Interim Chief Johnson.
Present.
Borough Manager is present. Madam President, you have a quorum. Thank you very much. I'd like to inform the public that council met in executive session on May 5th for personnel matter, April 27th, also personnel, April 22nd, property, and on April 21st for personnel matters. All meetings occurred at 6 p.m. and 6:30 for the 4/21 meeting. At this time, council, I would like to ask for an amendment to the agenda to add the approval of the Visit Delco resolution to new business. Thank you. Can we get a second? Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we amend the agenda to include an additional item under new business, which is the approval of the Visit Delco resolution. All in favor? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, say no. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, council. We'll add that to our new business. Okay. Thank you, everyone. All right, we can begin our meeting at, we have on our agenda a presentation. However, we are going to defer that presentation until the legislative meeting, our May legislative meeting. So at this time, yeah, May 21st. Okay, so we'll move right into committee updates, beginning with mine. Actually, Ms. Ashby, our library report.
Thank you. Good evening. Check one. Good evening, everybody. Here's a report. When we talk about the statistics, they're not for the entire month of April. They're from the last council meeting to today. So I want to make that clear. We didn't have 1,715 people in the first 7 days of the month. New library cards, 33 faxes, 115 copies, 230. We continue with our garden club. And that met today at 5 o'clock, and we planted collard greens, cabbage, and all kinds of good stuff out there. And we'll be planning more this Saturday. The staff is continuing with their professional development classes. Summer reading program will begin next week. Bentu Gosama will be graduating from college with her master's degree in information and library science. And as for myself, I've been a very busy person. I delivered a keynote speech for the volunteer week for the Philadelphia Free Library. I participated in a fireside chat with WHYY. I delivered a keynote speech for the directors of the Institute for Pennsylvania Library Association. I delivered a keynote speech for the Leadership Academy for the Pennsylvania Library Association. And I did an interview with WURD. And so that's what I've been up to. The gentleman walked into the library the other day, and he wanted to drop something off, and the staff didn't understand, but I heard something. So I came out, and he wanted to donate this to the library, but I think it would better be served in the borough hall in case. So here we go.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He didn't want to leave his name. He wanted to be anonymous.
Is there a history behind that?
It's 50 years old, and they wore it in high schools. And so it was a high school sweater. And so I think the school used to be called Sharon Hill High or something. Mm-hmm. And this is the sweater over there. It don't fit me, but we're going to see about finding a picture frame.
I think that Councilman Bradman would be the perfect person to take
Oh, right, the historical
care of
society.
that. Thank you.
I just learned about the
There ends my report.
Thank you, Mr. Ashby. And thank you for all of the work that you've done in representing Sharon Hill Borough and Sharon Hill Library across the Commonwealth.
Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Ashby?
Yeah, I just wanted to know what your interview was about on, you said W?
So, with WURD, the interview was about what I do in Sharon Hill and what I do as a librarian. And in the middle of the interview, she started asking me about Philadelphia schools closing down. I didn't understand that. But the state and the National Library Association have been sending me to workshops to learn how to do interviews. And so what I learned was, you don't really care what they ask you. You say what you need to say. So you get your message out. They can ask you, how is it outside? You may start talking about the basketball game. Because they're not going to ask you what you need, but you want your message to get out. So the interview was supposed to be about Sharon Hill, and what I'm doing in Sharon Hill, and what I'm doing throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But it swung up a little bit, and we brought it back into play.
Okay.
So it was WHYY, it was a fireside chat about there's a documentary called The Librarians. It was a fireside chat, and we did that. And the WHYY is looking to do programming at the Sharon Hill Public Library. Also, a friend of mine called me today, and he's like, "Hey, Rich, I have somebody for you to meet." I said, "Give him a number." The gentleman calls me, and he's an award-winning author. He just won the Coretta Scott King Book Award. And he's coming to Sharon Hill to do a book signing. He doesn't even get the award until June, but he wants to come to Sharon Hill to kick off his award, which is huge, because everybody around the country is trying to get him. And he said, my friend talked about you, I Googled Sharon Hill, that's where I want to be. So we're looking to get him as soon as possible. And can't wait to get out of the building.
Thank you, Mr. Ashby. Any other questions for Mr. Ashby? All right, thank you. So I will share on Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners. We did not meet this month, we meet next month. However, Bike the Pike is coming up. It's May 30th. And it is growing into what's going to be a very wonderful inaugural affair right here in Sharon Hill Borough. Again, there was a choice, and I volleyed for Sharon Hill as always. And so as one of the anchor communities of the Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners, we will be launching it from here, having the ribbon cutting. We have our electeds from across the county coming to be a part of the ribbon cutting. So it is at 9:30 in the morning at Memorial Park on May 30th, and then we'll do the ribbon cutting, the launch, we have a charitable giveaway, and then we will ride. So the brochure says that the trail is 7.2 miles. I rode it the other day. It's just a little short of 7.2 miles, but it is a nice ride. Our police department is leading the effort to secure the route and coordinating with other municipalities to make sure all riders are safe while we cross any intersections. So please, again, come out. There are going to be giveaways. Also, we'll have free helmets to give away. So I've been seeing some children in the neighborhood that ride and they don't wear helmets, so I've been inviting them. So if you know kids in town or anyone that needs a helmet that rides a bike, there are brochures in the back if you want to share it with them and let them know the date and time. So again, that's Saturday, May 30th at 9:30 a.m. at Memorial Park. Counselors, we need to have a table at the park for the launch where we can have waters and some first aid if anyone needs it. Every municipality is going to have a table, and is anyone available to man the table just for the beginning once the ride launches and everybody needs to be coiled down?
What time did you start?
Thank you. 9:30. Awesome. Thank you. Councilor Branham, I thought you were riding.
Oh, she had an electric bike. Oh, I had an electric bike.
So,
You are riding. Yeah, I mean, so we can man the table, and there'll be enough people to man the table, and then we can all ride once we pack up here and start and head out. But it's the route doesn't go straight down Chestnut Pike. What we did is we mapped the route that was lower traffic volume throughout the community. We crossed Chestnut Pike at 2 different intersections, going and coming back, but otherwise, pretty good ride. So thank you for that. And then, as I mentioned in the amendment, the Visit Delco resolution, so Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners was to apply for Visit Delco grant, which will fund the trash cans and signage planters for Ridley Park, Prospect Park, and Glen Olden. Sharon Hill and Norwood have different representation, and we've already received our funding for ours. So this is for that grant would fund those municipalities, and all of us have to approve it. So this is why I've added that resolution to the agenda. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the cleanup day. We had our cleanup day 2 Saturdays ago, and it was successful. We were on the fence. It almost rained. It didn't rain. And I've learned that some people like cleanup efforts in the rain. So that was good to know. And huge thank you to Councilman Patrick and the team at Home Depot for the grant that we were awarded, and a lot of the supplies that we got, all of the supplies that we used were from Home Depot's grant. Community members borrowed things. I hope that they've been bringing them back. Madam Borough Manager, has our stuff been back?
Yes, people have been returning items.
Good. So we have things that we can constantly be reusing, as well as I'd like to start an effort where just every Saturday is a cleanup day, where anyone who wants to do a cleanup on their block or around their block can come and grab supplies to do that cleanup, and invite their neighbors out. I did a cleanup myself last weekend, and there was still a lot of things to pick up outside. So in an effort for all of us to do our part, if anyone is so inclined, I'd be looking to start like every 3rd Saturday cleanup day. And if anybody wants to do that, they can come to the bar and grab some supplies. So we do have a lot. Thank you to Home Depot and Councilman Patrick. So that is everything that I have. Are there any questions for me?
No, I just wanted to make a shout out to a young man, Coach Anthony Brown. He used to be on the rec board. His son went out and cleaned up the basketball court. So he saw all of the advertisement that was going on online, and he said, "Dad, I would like to contribute to this, and plus I need, some volunteer hours for college." So he came out and he cleaned the whole entire, basketball court. He sent us photos, and it's at least 20 bags here of trash that he cleaned up in the court and around the court. So just wanted to give him and his family a shout out for doing that.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, VP Hill. The gentleman's name is Kai, and he's a student at Cheney University, and he did more than just clean up. And the place was like you could have a formal dinner on that basketball court after he was done. And I did get a chance to speak to him. He called, and it was a prideful thing for him to do for his community. So thank you again for saying that, because that kind of effort from a young person is definitely welcome and needs to be acknowledged as well as celebrated. And his parents for actually instilling that in him. So thanks to him, people. And we did have 3 gentlemen from Academy Park High School that did join the cleanup as well. They walked around and took care of things. So and it was a successful event. In addition to just citizens that wanted to do their part, we had young people as well. Okay, that's all that I have. Any other questions for me? All right, thank you very much. VP Hill, Recreation.
Yeah, so we are getting all of our, we're gathering all of our information and dates for Jalen Skills and Drill, which is going to kick off July 19th. So the Skills and Drill Clinic is going to happen on Sundays. It's going to happen at Academy Park. We're still finishing up some blade work to get, to bring everything together. So it's going to be Sunday. It's going to start Sunday, July 19th, Sunday, July 26th, Sunday, August 2nd, Sunday, August 9th, which is my birthday, and Sunday, August 16th, and then on Saturday, August 22nd is when we celebrate Jalen Duran's Day, where we have a big carnival out in the park. All of the young people eat free. Normally every year, Jalen brings a lot of his, NBA friends to come and, join us. It's fun. And that day also, that's when we have the championship games for all of our young people. And then and then on August 22nd, which is the grand finale day, that's when we put these young people that have been, training for 3 weeks, we put them on teams with the NBA players. So they can say, hey, I played with this NBA player and that NBA player. So that's what it's about. So again, we still have some loose ends that we have to tie up so that way everything can come together, but that's what I have coming up. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for VP Hill?
Oh, I'm sorry. So, and this is important, I don't know how I left this out. So, ages, it's going to be from ages 8 to 14, boys and girls. And when you register, just make sure that you put all of your information, because last year we had them putting, just first and last name. They wasn't putting the age or the size jersey. So we're stressing that this year so that way we won't run into a snafu like last year. But yeah, and that's about it. So yeah.
VP Hill, did you say August 22nd is the date?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Any questions for VP Hill?
Yes, I have a question. Well, any of the children require a sponsorship, or is
Oh yeah. So great question. Unlike last year, people did sponsor a child because some parents out here they don't have the funds to actually pay the registration fee. And I like to thank council, because it was council members that actually sponsored about, I think y'all sponsored like 12 kids last year. It was between 12 and 15 kids.
Well, just keep me in the loop.
Yeah, I keep everybody in the loop about that. And I normally throw in a donation as well, so people can so the kid can just play basketball, learn some skills and drills. Yeah, thanks for that question. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. That's all. Any other questions for VP Hill? All righty. Councilwoman Brabham for Shaq.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Okay, now, for Shaq, our last event was the prayer closet. And I must say, even though I thought I knew what it was, it turned out to be way better. It was truly a different way of looking at centering yourself and giving yourself an area and time for peace and, just to clear your mind. And we had a great time. The instructor was phenomenal. She was very good. And she also even does custom greeting cards. And they were beautiful. So, and her name is Trina Jones. And definitely, I think she's on Instagram. Take a look. She has some very beautiful artwork on online. The next thing that we are let's talk about our flea market. Okay, our flea market will be coming up June 6th. Okay, so we're, definitely looking for people to come out, join us, clean out those basements, attics, whichever, the garage, and come on over and join us in the park. And that will be on the park right off of Chester Pike Memorial Park. And the flea market is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and that'll be June 6th. And our May event is the Sharon Hill Sisterhood Celebration. And that will be Saturday, May 16th. And that's from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Now it's at 250 Sharon Avenue, second floor. And please email Shaq at SharonHillBorough.com. Please register. This is an event to celebrate the women in Sharon Hill. This is for your neighbor, your sister, your mom. We want to celebrate our women here in the borough. We always celebrate women from all over the world, all over the country, and we would like to say thank you and come on out and have a good time with us Saturday afternoon from 1 to 3. And that is all I have at this time.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bradley. You said that's this Saturday?
The 16th is the celebration.
Okay. Okay, any questions for Councilwoman Bradley? No? All righty, thank you very much. Moving along, Councilor Felder.
Good evening, Sharon Hill.
Evening.
I have the fire department's April 2026 report, monthly chief report, incidents in Sharon Hill Borough, automatic fire alarms, there were 4, gas leaks 3, assist EMS 2, vehicle accidents 2, building fires 2, public assist 2, carbon monoxide alarms 1, total incidents 16. Assists given, received. Darby Borough. They assisted us 3 times. We assisted them 3 times. Fallcroft Borough. We assisted Fallcroft 10 times. They assisted us 5. Upper Darby Township. We assisted them 0. They assisted us 1. Holmes Fire Company, Ridley Township. We assisted them 0. They assisted us twice. Lansdowne Borough. We assisted them 2 times. They assisted us no times. Tentacombe Township. We assisted them 0. They assisted us 1 time. Glenolden Borough. We assisted them 8 times. They assisted us 6. Darby Township, we assisted them 4 times. They assisted us once. Collindale Borough, we assisted them 8 times. They assisted us 2 times. Yeadon Borough, we assisted them 5 times. They assisted us once. Clifton Heights Borough, we assisted them 0. They assisted us once. And Manoa, Haverford, we assisted them 0. They assisted us once. Okay. Continuing the fire chief's report. Upcoming events, there's none. Notes, smoke and carbon monoxide detectors are available for residents of Sharon Hill free of charge. No smoke detectors or carbon monoxide detectors were handed out. Please keep the fire hydrants on your property free of obstruction, including vegetation and snow in the wintertime. Needs, there were none. Safety messages. Check your batteries in your smoke and CO detectors. Close your bedroom doors at night. This will prevent smoke and fire from entering the room, giving you more time to escape in case of a fire. And the report was respectfully submitted by Fire Chief Joe Bourgeois. My second report is the code officials report for April 2026. Inspections. Rental licenses, there were 51 issued for a revenue collection of $6,200. Rental reinspection, there were 5. Resale inspections, there were 3. Transfer re-inspections, there were 3, and revenue collected was $600. Total in the inspection category collected was $6,800. Next category, permits. Permit applications reviewed, 66. Permits issued, 55, for a total revenue collected of $40,084.50. Permits, fees that were doubled, there was 0. Permits tentatively approved, 4. Permits denied, 0. Stop work orders issued, 2. And tickets that were issued, 6. Total revenue collected was $150. Total permit revenue received was $40,234.50. For overall categories, both for the month, $47,034.50 collected. That concludes my borough code official report. Continuing on, I had the pleasure of attending yesterday Delaware County Transportation Management Association. And there's a lot that's going to be changing in Delaware County from top to bottom. A lot of different building constructs to make it possible for better transportation. And they have a 2050 plan that they're aiming for. Also, talking about Bike the Pike. I spoke with some individuals who do bike safety, and they're willing to come to Sharon Hill and give us a presentation, not only in our illustrious borough hall here, but also for the library for our youth, because there's a lot that's changing in terms of electric scooters, wearing helmets, where you can ride them, what is permitted. Our children need to know, because a lot of them ride scooters on the pavement, and they might, since they got bike paths, they may not be able to do that because, according to some statistics, there was a lot of people getting hit by electric scooters and those little electric bikes. Also, I met with, for Bike the Pike, I'm gonna have to get me a bike because they are some cool electric bikes. You can fold them up and put them in your car. They're about 49 pounds and they're cheap. They'll hold a 7-hour power charge. You can put a basket on the back and go shopping. So I encourage us, since we having all the redevelopment and bikes are coming in our way and it's all over Delaware County, that might be something people might want to consider. The individual that will be here on the day that we do the bike ride, they will be renting bikes for that purpose. So stay tuned for that. And they're willing to come to our borough also to give us a lesson on electric bikes. So that concludes, Mr. Ashby. I also talked with a group that does things for youth. I mentioned you in the library. So I'll give you their contact, and they're willing to come out and do bike safety with our children, no matter what age.
Fantastic, thank you.
Okay? And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilor Felder. Any questions for Councilman Felder?
Yeah, just one small item. Many people don't recognize that some of these e-bikes are actually Class 3 vehicles, and they are the same eligibility as a motorcycle. Based on their speed and rates, they have to follow the same laws as a motor vehicle and cannot drive on the pavements. It's a missed item that we're continually trying to enrich the community on. Your local e-bike is actually no different than a car. And that has to be something that children need to understand, that, and also the safety measure of stopping at stop signs. Because I've seen some e-bikes just blow through stop signs and almost cause accidents. And this one was in an accident recently because an e-bike was driving in a strange way and unfortunately ran into the other car. There's a lot of that behavior, and we have to understand that e-bikes, though they're a great way of navigating, their safety has to be a little more enhanced as you navigate in the community. So please keep that in mind.
Thank you, Mayor Booker. Any other questions for Councilor Felder? Councilor Felder, thank you for attending the DCTMA conference. Heard you were in the building.
I didn't win this time.
What?
I was upset.
You won every year.
I won every year.
I
yes.
did hear that you were there representing Sharon Health, so thank you for that. Okay. Moving along, Councilor Smith is excused this evening. So we'll go to Councilman Patrick. I do want to just add really quickly, I'm sorry, Councilor Patrick. It's Klein Rent and Ride is the company that you spoke to that will be here to rent bikes on May 30th if anybody wants to ride and doesn't have a bike. Thank you for that. Okay, Councilor Patrick, good evening.
Good evening. I just have one thing to report under new business for Delco School Board. They are looking to ratify the purchase of 1,000 Chromebook chargers through the SHI International Corporation at a cost not to exceed $13,318,000. And I'll have more information on that purchase at our legislative meeting later on.
Good to know. Thank you very much. Any questions for Councilor Patrick? Okay, and just while Councilor Smith is not here, I just will share that she has been, as she's told us, going through the personnel, the employee handbook and working with Kyle on it. So Kyle, if she hadn't reached out, she said she would, so that y'all can work on the share out portion of what's been done. Okay, awesome. Okay. Moving right along, official.
Before you move on, I have one more carrot
Okay.
to give out. There is a hiring taking place by Kraft, a bus company. The requirement is that you have your LCD. So I have CDL, yeah. What I said, LCD? Oh, nice.
TV, like a TV?
Well, sometimes you need to see. I need light. So they have a hiring practice going on now for anyone that drive those big vehicles. Oh, guys, audience, forgive me.
You said Craft Bud?
No, it's a CRAPF. That's the name of the company. Their number is 484-653-6951. Email is commercialjobs@krapbus.com.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay. Officials updates, Mayor Booker.
Greetings, community and council. It's good to be here with you wonderful people. I'd like to thank you all for just being amazing. Just to start us off. I have quite a few items, so hopefully I can run through these quickly. And I just want to say thank you in advance. I'll start with the police chief report. Sharon Borough Department respectfully submits the following report outlining police activity and departmental operations for the month of April 2026. During the month of April, police department responded to a total of 645 calls for service throughout the borough. Officers remain proactive in patrol operations, traffic enforcement, criminal investigation, and community safety initiatives, while continuing to provide professional service to residents and visitors. Criminal activities investigations. Reported criminal activity for the month includes 3 criminal arrests, 2 assault investigations, 1 burglary investigation, 23 domestic relation incidents, 11 theft investigations, 2 weapon-related offenses, and 2 narcotic offenses. Control operations and public safety. Police responded to 70 alarm calls, 60 medical assists, 18 assists to other police agencies, and 141 building checks. And for traffic enforcement, there was 22 traffic stops, 20 traffic citations issued, 22 motor vehicle assist investigated, 15 abandoned vehicle complaints handled, and 42 parking tickets issued. Tissues, All right. Also, I want to keep open the awareness. The block captains are attempting to reach out and have sync-ups. We are currently for this month, we have a plan for a sync-up once a month. These are voluntary sync-ups, but the opportunity is to open a doorway for anyone who would like to get involved with being a block captain. The block captain initiative is just to keep the information level with the community as high as possible. Sometimes it's hard for me and council to be everywhere at once, but we want to make sure we can reach residents as fast and efficient as possible. So we hope to have some liaisons that can help us out with that. Let us know where your problems are, and those who don't feel comfortable voicing their opinion, we want to have them reached out to. So I'm hoping that those who are willing to step to the challenge will come forward and be able to help us out. All right, we're looking for your friendship and your bond in making this a better community. Also, we had 3 wonderful youth that are looking to help out our community. I'm actually going to meet up with them again. They are the 3 Best Friends Cleanup Crew. They're looking for an opportunity to help out residents with little tasks, cleaning services, anything they can to help make sure they can assist our community. It's wonderful to know that we have such youth that are willing to go above and beyond for our community. So, and if you're curious about their hours of operation and details, head over to the library. You can grab a flyer from over there. And we'll have more communication along those lines. I believe that covers all my reports. Does anyone have any questions?
Mayor Booker, was there an update from Darby Creek Joint Authority?
Oh, yes. As far as Darby Creek Joint Authority, there hasn't been a meeting since the last meeting, I believe I reported previously, but there was no additional change. Also, at the end of the month, there is a Creek meeting. It's going to be internal, but I will give an update more than likely in June since the meeting is on May 29th, I believe. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Solicitor, good evening.
Good evening. And thank you, Madam President. I'm going to respectfully request that we can essentially table the tax assessment appeal memos I noticed something recently, and I just reconfirmed it, that one of the subject parcels is the new Starbucks Snipes.
Mhm.
Is that where, for my own edification, is that where the car wash once was, on that same site?
Yes.
A gas station, but on that same site, right, on the corner of Clifton
Yes,
and Chester Pike, okay.
it was a separate parcel, and the owner bought both of them, and then they went through the redevelopment process as opposed to consolidation.
Oh, sorry. It was two parcels, and I think we all know this. This is just for Kyle's edification.
Yeah.
It was two parcels, and he purchased them both, and then did the redevelopment zoning so that it could be one.
Right,
And I think that's where that.
and now it's
Assessment.
kind of all one large
Yeah.
parcel, but for the Dunkin' cut out in the corner.
Right.
So I just think from a timing perspective, in these stipulations, generally, they're only valid so long until the county would come in and reassess. But my assumption is the county, as soon as that permit is closed, the county's coming in anyway, and they're gonna tell us what it is. So I'm not sure why we would agree to something that's, or, why do the dance if
Yeah.
if they're gonna tell us what to do anyway. So I'm just gonna double check on that rather than make any recommendations at this time, it seems that these were filed maybe a year and a half ago, while it still was vacant, but things have obviously changed. And I just want to make sure that that's readily apparent to both the borough and the school district and the county. So we're gonna push those back if that's okay.
Yes, it is okay with you. Thank you.
Mentioning the employee handbook, we have reached out to Borough Manager Taylor and discussed a suggestion by VP Hill, and I think it was received well by everyone for the implementation of the employee ID badges. So we have confirmed it's it's a doable process. It's something that we can put in place, but we want to make sure that it's enumerated, memorialized within the handbook itself, and any requirements surrounding those identification badges. So that once that is incorporated, I think we will be ready to have a final reading for council consideration, and hopefully we can finally get this across the finish line. And additionally, in your packets, I believe, I don't have the packet in front of me, but I believe you have the updated version with the highlighted changes of the proposed mobile food establishment ordinance. There's a few fairly substantial changes here, mainly that it would create a mobile food district, the boundaries of which are still to be determined with council's input. And then there would be a limit on how many licenses are issued, and generally it would be one vehicle permitted to operate at any one given time. So if there were 3 licenses issued, they would rotate on the 3 days, but typically I think we would just aim for 2 licenses to be issued, and one license holder operates on even days, the other license holder would operate on odd days. Again, there are exemptions, one of which would be for the assembly gathering permit, another for borough-sponsored events. So if there were a shack event, or if there's a festival or some Jazz in the Park, something along those lines, those exemptions are clearly laid out, which was not especially clear the first time around. So I'll just encourage everyone to run through that at your earliest convenience, and if there are any substantive changes or suggestions, please feel free to reach out to me, and we still have them. If we'd like to get this on an agenda for council consideration at the legislative meeting, we still have about a week to make those further changes. I think that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. I did want to ask a question. Would you prefer to us to just send you the questions? I had a question just about one part of your highlights, but I can forward it to you.
If you want to have an open discussion, we can, but I don't know if we want to.
It was just around the part where there are hours of operation.
Sure.
So with this, all of whoever is here would be leaving. It's not any stay overnight situation.
So under the proposed ordinance, you're only permitted to operate for the hours for that day. So since your day would expire at the end of the time period as proposed 6 p.m. and then the next day would belong to the other licensee, then by virtue of that, they would have to pack up and go and make sure it's actually a mobile food vendor rather than a stationary food vendor on wheels.
Okay. Any other questions for Kyle? So, Counselor,
No, that was my question
okay,
about the time.
the time.
You have a question?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Okay, this you spoke of 1, 2, or 3. What if you had a 4th or 5th potential food truck that wanted to do business or something else?
So the way the proposed ordinance is written is that the license would be issued on a first come, first served basis.
So you can cap it at 3?
You can cap it at 2.
Okay, I got you.
You can cap it at 1 if you prefer. And it also leaves some discretionary capability for council to
Understood.
review and there's an appeal process for those who feel that they maybe should have received one, but I think the first come, first served, that's fairly straightforward for the first in line.
Right.
And then annually that application process restarts, so the next year someone else has a chance.
Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions for Kyle? So Council, we can just review this and see if it captures all of our sentiments and thoughts on food trucks in the borough, and then just send those back to Kyle so we can have a version 2 approved. I just think if we look at it. Okay, yeah, another one?
Yeah, so we wanna identify, with, as we go through this review, it's gonna identify a certain area where it will be, so meaning that there can be any other areas where somebody,
Right.
whatever, said it has to be that area.
Private property only, no sidewalks, no streets, with the permission of the private property owner. And it would just be a district in a specific area, whichever area you choose.
The one thing I think that needs to probably be in there, and probably have to talk to Taglia about that too, is making sure that the owners of these properties know that their commercial properties are only zoned for certain things. So like,
Right.
say for example, if the parking lot up the street say, oh yeah, you can set your taco truck up in the middle of the parking lot. You know what I mean?
If he's not in the district, they can't have a mobile food vendor there, once we establish that.
Well, it is in the district, is one example, so that Councilor Hill is giving, so say it is in the district, but it's a parking lot that's zoned, I guess, for cars, for those businesses,
Sure.
not necessarily, like, will they still have to meet that requirement?
So, to my understanding, if it's a parking lot, like across the street at the behind the Starbucks, at the grocery store, if it's a mobile food establishment, they're legally allowed to be there on a temporary basis, not to stay there overnight and things, I'm not sure I'm understanding the question. And if there would only be one district, say 1 block, 2 blocks, half a block out, we've seen it as small as a small portion of a sidewalk. If there's, if that's all there is and there's only 1 permitted food truck at a time, then any others would be
So for example,
unauthorized.
like where CVS lot is, right?
Yes.
So if CVS said to people, yes, you can park your trucks here overnight, that lot was intended for patrons of the store, not for it to be a parking lot for trucks. So therefore,
Right.
even though it's private, our understanding was that it's not allowed, because that's not what it was. I don't know if saying zoned is the right word,
All
but
right.
that's not what it was zoned for. So that's more like the question, like can the owner of these shopping lots say to a truck, yeah, you can have a truck here, without them coming forward and then saying, I want to actually change the use of my parking lot.
I would say yes. I think that's an accessory use to a commercial property. Again, it's self-contained. It's not necessarily it's not using any of the property's utilities, it needs to be fully self-sustained, self-contained. It's not tapping into any of the sewer, water, gas, anything like that. So from a use perspective, I can't see how it would be forbidden.
See, that's why I'm saying we gotta have Tartaglia in on it. Because from what I understand is, if you have a property, so like, say for instance, those parking spots around Starbucks and Snipes are zoned on a legal document for parking. So, not parking and selling stuff. It's zoned just for that. Because people want to go in there, they're going to shop, they're going to get their coffee, and they're going to leave out of that space, and then they're going to go, and then somebody else is going to come. So I'm saying, like, if we approve this ordinance, it just have to be like where this is where these food trucks is going to be zoned, that this is the spot only.
Right.
Nowhere else in the borough.
Right.
Just here.
Just
So that's where I'm coming from. So.
If I may, and we can continue to have conversations about this, I just don't want us to word the ordinance too finite, because you may want to have something at ABC Park and have food vendors. You may want to have something at Weeder Wax and have food vendors. So I just want to make sure that while we're talking about how we want this ordinance to be laid out, that it's not too finite, where we don't expand our opportunities to be able to have trucks, etc., at other places in the borough that may not necessarily be a borough event, but something that we are approving as a part of whatever may come our way in the future. So as we continue to discuss it, I just want to make sure that.
You have that in here.
Okay.
Yes, there's a section in the existing code for an assembly gathering permit. It's congregating, gathering or collecting or congregating of persons at any place within the borough for which a permit is required for sports events, circuses, carnivals, festivals, music festivals, religious observances. So if someone has an assembly gathering permit, then they would be exempt. That would be exempt. So
a food vendor would be absorbed in the assembly gathering permit, is what you're saying?
Yes, a food vendor, a mobile food vendor could set up at the permanent event for the duration of the permanent event.
As long as they have the assembly permit.
Yes, as long as the overarching organizer has the assembly permit, then they can engage the food truck.
I think the clarity might have been around public and private. And I think we probably need to look more into the private part.
Sure.
The permissionable issue that a private owner may give a vendor, and the parameters that we want to set so that we can get an understanding and an agreement.
Sure.
The public, we can open it up as it's connected to an event.
Right.
Thank you. Any other questions for Kyle? Okay, thank you, Kyle. Thank you, counselors. Okay, next up is our interim police chief, Sharon Johnson.
Good evening. Good evening. There we go. Sorry. It's my first one. I wanted to highlight one of our officers. A resident approached me and wanted to thank Corporal Addix for assistance with a family member who was having an episode. Corporal Addix rendered aid and care during this time of need. And just wanted Corporal Addix to be recognized. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you.
At this time, that's all I have for this month.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Treasurer, good evening.
Good evening, Madam President and Council. I'll read off the April 2025 Treasurer's Report that you should have in your packet. The balance on hand as of March 31st, 2026 was $412,110.60. In the month of April, which we anticipated because it's our large month for tax revenues to come in. We did have a large amount of deposits and receipts, totaling $3,273,489.34, bringing our balance before debits of the account to $3,685,599.94. In the month of April, we also had disbursements and withdrawals totaling $619,476.79, bringing the balance as of April 31, 2026 to $3,066,123.15. With that, I'll go ahead and move on to the bills report. I don't really have many highlights on my bills report. Many if not all of the items on the report are monthly, reoccurring vendors that we typically see or items that you may be already aware of. Let me just see. The one that I'll, on page 3, there's a Domar contracting company. I believe this was a repair at the fire company. So that's the one that's a different vendor. And on page 4, I believe you all are aware of the annual donation to the Academy Park for the Farm. So, but I don't have any other items on the vendors list to report on at this time. And also, I'm sorry, I'll make sure, and the borough manager, she slaps me in my hand all the time, but I'll make sure that the Budget Bureau's actual summary review is included in the packet so you can have it digitally moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Do you have another copy of this that we can give Mr. Ashby just so you can see his line items?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I did, yes, I can give him a packet. I also sent you an email tonight, too.
Okay, so you have it. Okay, thank you. I have a question on Bellevue Strategies. Are you still getting that monthly billing from them? Because we did move from the retainer rate to a billable hours rate just because the volume is down of the work.
Yes, they have updated their rate or their invoices of recently, yes.
Okay.
Some of them we're maybe catching up on, but yes, they have updated that.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Any other questions for the treasurer on the report or the bills list? Okay, thank you very much. Madam Borough Manager.
Good evening, Madam President and Council and Mayor. I'm going to be very brief this evening. We have had a lot of volume and calls concerning the trash, so I do want to address the trash and just let residents know. Often trash issues as it relates to collection are sometimes out of our control. If there is an issue where a load is hot, which means that there are contaminants in the load that should not be in the trash, they have to be identified who brought them in at the dump site. That causes a delay. There was also a station was down, so that caused another delay. I'm not making excuses. I understand that trash collection is up there in vital and necessary services that the borough should render. What I am sharing, though, is that oftentimes we don't find out until the end of the day that they've had a backup. They're trying to get back out, which is why you may see your trash sometimes getting collected at 6 o'clock at night. So I just wanted to let residents know that we are aware. We are doing the best that we can to make sure that we hold our vendor accountable. And if we need to make some adjustments, we'll make adjustments, because again, making sure that your trash and refuge is collected is a vital and necessary service, and all of council, because their trash has to get collected, they're serious about it also. So I don't want anyone to think that we're turning a blind eye to this. It's just that we can't do anything when there's an issue with the dump site where there's either a backup or a hot load and it causes a delay with the vendor. But we hear you, we acknowledge you, and we appreciate you continuing to let us know. Another topic, which I spoke on at our last meeting, and our engineer was here to also affirm, are the alleyways. So we know that the alleyways are an issue. We were fortunate enough to get some grant funding to support alleys, not as much as we had hoped for. And as we communicated at the last meeting, we did have to make some modifications to the initial planned streets that were a part of that grant proposal in order to acquire the funds. We will have to make some modifications to that listing because we didn't get the full complement. So we will be rolling out that project. We do understand that this is, it's one of the things that the alleyways are not considered borough streets. I need to make sure we are clear on that. So when we talk about prioritizing, there are often times where we can go and patch an area because it's the end of an actual street, or we can patch an area because it's the beginning of the alleyway, but it's technically a main street. I hope that that visual can help to lay a foundation for why we're able to address some areas faster than we are other areas. We have funding that we can tap into in order to address actual borough streets as opposed to alleyways. Alleyways, we have to go out and seek grant funding for that. So we hear you, we understand, we're working through it, and hopefully we'll be able to acquire more revenue to be of support to get those alleyways repaired. Last but certainly not least, we always appreciate, and I tell you guys this all the time, anything that we can do to improve on operations, please feel free. Stop over, I'm here. You can email me, you can call. Any ideas, any recommendations you have to help us with operations as it relates to serving you better, my ears are open. So much so that I got 2 digital clocks to make sure that we are all on point with time. So I appreciate just the opportunity to serve you guys, and that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Madam Borough Manager. Are there any questions for our Borough Manager?
Yes, I have, I guess, 2 questions. I know it's like the alleyways is something that's been before us and it continues. I would like to know, even though we got homeowners, what part would home insurance play and a homeowners association that they can organize and petition not the borough but at another level to get funding that would help them?
So great question. I have recommended to some residents that have called with concerns about the alleyways, I have recommended that they work with their neighbors to raise funds and select a vendor to do it for them because it probably will assist with increasing, it'll definitely help with increasing property value. It'll definitely assist them with any discounts that they could qualify through their homeowner's insurance, right? Because that back strip, most of the residents with the alleyways have garages, parking pads, etc., which are all a part of their property line. So, I would say that there are some residents who may be willing to do that. Some may have apprehensions in approaching other residents about it. Perhaps this is something that the block captains can assist with if there's a block captain on a particular block with an alleyway that, has that concern. As far as a homeowners association, I mean, if a street, I should say, if there's a section of a row of homes on both sides that share that alleyway, so if they wanted to come together and, form an association, I don't think that would be something that would necessarily need to come before council, but unless, it depends. I have to look into it a little bit more. But I encourage residents and to empower themselves to address issues and take matters into their own concern. I also, while we're on the note, also always want to give kudos to our public works team as they're out, cutting grass and, repairing potholes, and also working with our value partners for the sewer line. This kind of happened after the last legislative meeting, but there was a backup that caused us to have to do some work with the drains, with the sewer line. So we just, again, encouraging residents. I think I did touch on this at the last meeting. Just be mindful of what you put down the drains, particularly grease items. I think it was the main issue with the sewer backup at that time had to do with grease. So I just wanted to make sure we give kudos to our public works team for the work that they do to maintain the borough, as well as the sewer lines.
Thank you. Deidre? Yes, I just wanted to say that I had mentioned a few times George Street and that pile of trash at the end, and I see that it has dwindled. Okay, it's not perfectly clean yet, but it looks so good to drive by and not see all of those bags piled up around the dumpster. Okay, but they still have some mattresses to take care of, but I'm pleased and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and the other item you mentioned about the public works and cutting grass, I happened to be talking to one of them, and the amount of grass that they're cutting, it's a job, it's a task. So as a dog owner, myself, please clean up behind your dogs. And, just because it's little, it doesn't mean that you don't need to pick it up, okay? Please, if you're a dog owner and you're out there walking your dog, clean up behind your dog. It's highly appreciated. And that's all.
Thank you, Counselor.
I just want to add something. So, just two things real quick, because you mentioned grass. I'm not sure what's happening with Academy Park. Y'all drove past it, like the grass is like really high. I don't know if that's something that they're supposed to be doing. I know it was always manicured, so I'm not sure if they're short or whatever, but I know the facilities manager, see, like sometimes if they're short like that, they will ask our guys, could they, do them a favor. So could we check in with them to find out, what's happening? And then the other thing, and this is concerning like the alleyways. So what I did on my block, I was getting my driveway done, and one of my other neighbors came over and said, hey, could I talk to the guy to get mine done? And then the guy was like, that was doing my driveway. He was like, well, ask a few of your neighbors if they want to, chip in, and then the rate will go down. So I had got like 9 of my neighbors. This is before you moved in, Miss Felicia. This is before you moved in. They got like 9 of my neighbors, and then they came around and they did your back.
Yes.
So they were really great. I think my driveway started out, I think it was like $1,700, and by the time it was done, it came down to like $1,100. So, and everybody else was like happy. So yeah, that does work. And I didn't know a lot of my neighbors on my block, but I'm the type of person, I talk to everybody. So I wouldn't mind knocking on the door and, asking folks, and sometimes if you have like a little note and it's not like a long note, it'll resonate, best with the resident to read it. Like it's real simple. So I think that's a good idea if neighbors on blocks come together to get some of that stuff done. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. I wanted to ask a follow-up question on George Street. So I'm looking at the report from Commonwealth Codes, and I don't see that one on here, but I think that George Street is an apartment situation, and the dumpsters are getting overflowed.
Yes.
So that should be something that we have to go over again and find them daily. They did before. Okay. So yeah, we should stay on top of them.
Okay.
Okay, with that. Okay, so we should do that again. Thank you. Any other questions for our borough manager? Okay.
I have one, but I don't relate. Couple in the parks, maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe the mayor would know, Delaware County Park Police was stationed. Was there a reason?
Yeah, there was an event at the church across the street. And there was a bishop was coming down, and they have this big festival around the world, and these churches are connected. So long story short, this year was the year that this church got to host it. So yeah, so that's what that was about.
Thank you. Any other questions for our borough manager? Okay, so at this point, we can move right into our public comment. I'd like to remind the public that public comment is for 3 minutes. If you will please ask all of your questions, and then when you are done, we will proceed to address them. So I have 2 comment cards.
Oh, I didn't fill out the card.
I will start with the first one I received, Mr. Felton White.
Thank y'all. I'm not here often, not because I don't want to be here, but because of my job. But I have a lot of concerns.
Excuse me, sir, can you please use the microphone? Just so that the viewers can hear.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
don't think I want to hold the mic all day, but testing 1, 2. It's not on.
Just
try now. Hello, hello.
You just
turned it off.
Thank you, thank you. As I was saying, first I want to just say
Mr.
thank
White,
you.
can you pause so we can just restart the talking, please, so we don't use up your time?
Oh, I'm gonna go over that time anyway. So. Well, let me have this text. But first, I want to thank the council and the mayor for y'all condolences to my wife's dad. We had a hard time down in New Orleans, but I appreciate the support and everything for that. Okay. The first issue I have, I talked about this all the time before when I was thinking about running for council, and afterward, even when you guys all got selected. One of my first things was community involvement, recognition, acknowledging the community, let them know when things are going on. That's not happening. That's not happening. I talked to almost 100 people last week about the issues that was going on with the police department. Not that we want to be involved in it every day, but informing people what's going on will make better decisions, will make us feel better, right? Mr. What's your name, Intro Police Chief? What your name is?
Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, I don't know you. I don't think we ever had any run-ins. I knew the other police chief from him being here. We don't know what's going on. Even with the decisions you guys are about to make, I don't know what it's about because we're not informed. The residents should be informed. You guys, we elected you guys to make the decisions, but we should be informed. When you're making decisions on behalf of the police department, the police department affects the community. So if the community don't have no input in it, we're not saying we want to make the decisions, but there should be a meeting or something to let us know what's going on, and then we will give y'all the authority to make the decisions y'all need to make. It's not happening. And that's not just that, it's everything. We have a lot of stuff that the community is complaining about that they don't know about. Why do you think this borough is always empty? Because they're not getting informed. So I'm not saying you guys are doing a poor job, I'm just saying y'all not doing the best y'all can. Whatever happened in the community, I think we need to go to the community, find a way to get to the community. Even if y'all call a special meeting, just say, hey, just for the community involvement so we can let y'all know, acknowledge what's going on or whatever before we make decisions. I don't know what's going on with the police chief. I think he was a wonderful guy. We don't know whether he was fairly treated, mistreated or fairly treated, but I'm saying that information would make us feel better as a community before somebody just adjusts the community, the police department, and the residents don't know. That's my first thing. Secondly, you guys do a good job of coming here announcing and saying what you guys have done, what y'all doing for the community. I think that's wonderful. Do the same thing with any other information you have. Just put it out. Let the community know. That way people will be, if I done ran into 50 people who said, I asked them, I said, y'all come to the meeting. Oh, I don't want to go to the meeting. We don't know what's going on. They don't include us. This is what happened. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. So I just want y'all to know that the job you're doing, I don't think nobody's complaining about it, but they're complaining about more information and being involved. And you can't get nobody involved if there's no information. So I just want to say that. The people pick you guys to represent us. Y'all didn't pick the people. So just know the people can take y'all out too. So I just want y'all to understand that and be clear about where we're going. This borough, I've been
Mr. White, your 3 minutes are up. So if you want to just finalize your statements?
Yeah, I've been living here for 20 years. I've been coming to these meetings for almost 3 years, and they're always like this. So somebody should really look around and say, hey, we need to get the people in the meeting. We need to get them involved. We need to find a way, even if it takes y'all to get 5 of your residents of peace to be in here.
Mr. White,
it's not like that.
if I may, your 3 minutes is up, sir.
Yeah, I got it, but I just want to make that clear.
Council President, can I speak just briefly? I want to say thank you, Felton, for saying that. I am begging residents to meet with me, find some way I can meet with them. There's some people who, I literally have a number just for residents to call me. I want to meet with as many residents as possible because I understand the dread of feeling like you don't know what's going on. You shouldn't feel that way because I'm trying to make myself as available as possible. Like you give me a call, you email, I'll go to your house. We can sit down and chat. The plan is to be as available as humanly possible to a annoying degree for me. I want to be in that place, just like with anything else. I will be more available. I desire to be that, and I know council does too. Look, I work remote, so you just call me. I'll run over. Like, I don't ever want anybody to feel like you can't reach me. Like, my desire for this community is that we all grow harmoniously. And I know I'm annoyingly kind to people. I know I'm annoyingly kind because we need that. This community is either at each other's throat or the complete opposite of not knowing that if there's any love. I will have a conversation. I will sit down. Hey, look, I had sewing club last night. It's unfortunate that your wife couldn't be here because we have a blast here just having conversations. But I'd like to sit down and people can tell me about what's happening in their heart, the pains they're feeling, the suffering they're feeling. So I hear you. And please, I can beg, but I want to make sure I can find a place to be available. Look, I'm willing to, matter of fact, Saturday afternoon, I'm gonna grab a table, I'll be in Memorial Park. And I'll chill there, I'll have some music playing, I'll be hanging out for about 4 or 5 hours. And I'll just sit there and you can ask me questions. I will do anything. Any suggestion you have for me to get closer to the community, I have a meeting with one of the residents on Monday, just to hear, because I know there's members of the African community that feels disenfranchised, and it pains my heart to know that they feel that way. So I'm trying to find any way I can to be there for y'all.
You want me to give you a way of doing it?
Absolutely.
Mr. White, if it's okay, if y'all can take this off.
Well, yeah, look, we'll talk Yes, sir.
You want to know a way of doing that?
Absolutely.
The same way you do it when you go out in your campaign. You go to people's doors and find out their concerns. You go talk to people in the stores and stuff. When you campaign, you know how to go out there and get people.
Yeah.
So that's the same way you keep the people.
Absolutely.
You go out there and try to figure out what's going on. Each one of y'all have different districts. Just like y'all went knock on doors in your district to get these people to vote. I'm not saying you need their votes again, but try that again and try to see, hey, I'm just knocking on your door to see what your concern is, what I can do for you or whatever. It's not every day.
Yeah.
Once a month, once every 3 months or something. Just, do that same pattern and you'll find out that the reason people don't come is because they're not involved and they don't feel comfortable about what's going on.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So I'd like to just also further reiterate the 3 minutes for public comment, and so that we can allow everyone their time, and there's a degree of entitled extra time when everyone takes extra time. So if we're conscious of each other, that's helpful just to the room. But for those that choose
I
to
don't
go
feel I need
over,
extra time. There's nobody here to speak anyway, so I have 3 minutes going here. I'm just saying, I'm not being disrespectful. If they have 5, 6, 7 people.
I appreciate your comments. I'm just saying, the chambers have rules, and so we are just trying to make sure everyone is able to speak and we apply them to everyone, but we are not able to apply them uniformly, but I do appreciate your comments. Yeah. The next paper I have is for Ms. Turner.
I'm gonna sit here and just ask my question. What is the ordinance on dogs? So, I called the borough hall like 3 times. We have a dog who keeps running around, going to the bathroom. All of us have approached the kids. We haven't seen the parents yet. Because I know the borough used to write a letter. They would send a letter in the mail, and usually that would stop the issue. So I called borough hall today. Mr. Ruby told me that the code guy sat out front of the house for 10 minutes, didn't see anybody, so there's nothing they can do. I mean, because you didn't see in 10 minutes, I have it on video, so I need to know what steps do I have to take next, because we're all tired of cleaning up dog crap. And street sweeper, where is the street sweeper? Our streets are disgustingly filthy. The town looks horrible. My sister-in-law came from New York and said, we look worse than Manhattan does right now. That's bad. That's it, that's all I got.
I'll defer to the mayor on the question of the dogs, since dog law enforcement is the duty of the police department.
Yeah, for just call 911. Our officers should be heading over. Though code enforcement can do it, but it's a 911 call.
So what happens when they come and they're gone? The people are in the house already, because that's usually what happens.
That's actually a good question. I'm not sure about that. Sean, interim police chief?
Sure. If you want, point the house out, we'll file citations on information received. The only thing I can warn you about that, which I don't think you'll have any issue with, is it's information received. So we're not swearing to it. You would be swearing to it if it does go.
No, I don't care if you tell them. Yeah.
No, if it goes to court, you'd be required to testify.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep. You want me to send you a video? I got video. You want the video?
Sure.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
And the one thing I heard out of that was a resolution which we can look into the letter. Like you said, it used to be a letter that was sent out. So maybe we can talk to the borough manager about that and look into that. And I do want to address Mr. White. When you were talking, so I did like what you said about in terms of getting out and knocking on doors the same way. Now, I remember me, just mentioning that, and I used to say it all the time when I first got elected. I was like, maybe in a quarter I go out and just knock on them same doors and ask everybody is they okay, so forth and so on. I may have said something like that to some of the council people. Well, the one thing that I did learn, and I learned from Madam President, was she said, look, when you have your events, please keep letting the community know about the meetings. And then at this time, I think, Madam President, y'all were doing the meet and greet. I think y'all started that back up at that time. Well, not the meet and greet, the office hours, sorry. They were doing the office hours. And not a lot of people showed up. I mean, it was well advertised. And I think the most I've seen this community come out is when something like tragic happened. And I'm like, wow, or like if we're honoring somebody, or if the officer or somebody's getting sworn in or something like that. And I was like, wow, like I would love to, all of us would love that. I think, when you look at, because I am in the community. I mean, I travel a lot, but I'm in the community. I think if you look at the heartbeat of this community, a lot of our residents, and this is not an excuse, because I'm going to take what you said and I'm gonna run with it. But I want to say this: if you look at the heartbeat of this community, a lot of our residents, they work, they come home, they shut their doors, cook their food, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't come out like, and even when I give events, right, there's a certain way that you have to push those events. And if you don't, no one will know that the event is there. And then when we have events, someone say, wow, I'm just finding out about that. Or I didn't know about that. And we've been advertising for 90 days. That's my thing, 90 days. However, I am going to take that. I received that. I'm sure everybody else received it too. And to piggyback off what the mayor said, we all feel the same way you do. You know, there's information that gets out. Some people, you know, when they see certain things online, they say, you know what? And I've seen it. I've seen people say that. Like, I have some beautiful neighbors on my block. You mentioned, like, you know, get 5 or 3 neighbors on your block and have them come. And, you know, they say to me, I'm not going into one time. And they keep telling me, like, what? And I said to my one day, I said, well, how long ago that was? Well, that was like when I first bought my house, like 10 years ago. That was 10 years ago. There's a new, like, I mean, you know, the one thing that we be mindful of is not to have this thing be like a soap opera or a drama thing when we come in here. You know, we're not perfect, but that's one of the things that we stand on. It's like people watch us through Facebook, you know, where they see a lot of things being said and happening on Facebook, and they just judging. They just judging, you know, respectfully though, respectfully. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Can I have a minute to respond to you, Adam? Can I have a second?
Mr. White, if I do have some other public comment cards, so if you don't mind, after the other residents get a chance to speak, you can circle back to Mr. Hill.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Madam President, before you move forward, I just want to make sure that I was
there was another question before.
with Ms. Turner's comment and Councilman Hill making a suggestion about the letter that came from council. So I just wanted to get clarity. Is the dog is a resident's dog? Like, we know who the dog is. Okay. So for full transparency, when I was informed of the call, I was under the impression that it was a stray dog. I didn't know that we were talking about Miss Susie's dog, who just comes outside and does the business and comes back in the house. So with that understanding, yes, we can issue a letter. If you don't mind, if you could just provide a little more context to me after the meeting, that way I'm aware of who we should be addressing it to.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
And Madam Borough Manager, the second part of the question posed by Ms. Turner was about the street sweeper.
Oh, yes. So just quickly on the street sweeper, for everyone, the street sweeper is currently experiencing mechanical difficulties. I did not want to put a Band-Aid on something that has been an issue. We've been spending a lot of money just trying to, good money after bad, right? I didn't think that was in the best interest. For me, I'd rather us, if we had to, go without for a season so that we can budget appropriately to get the proper street sweeper for this community. That was my stance. That was not anything on council. So please understand, from a budgetary standpoint, it's not fiscally responsible for me to spend, and I lie to you not, $9,000 to rent a street sweeper to street sweep every week. That's not fiscally responsible, in my opinion. I understand that it's an issue, and we will figure out how to address the issue. We do have a small team, you guys know that, but the team is mighty, and they're willing to do the work. So we will be addressing, making sure that particularly inlets, you know, when it rains, all of the debris kind of collect on the inlets. We'll definitely be making sure that we monitor those areas. But I just didn't want to see us spend money like that every month by the week to have the street sweeper. If I can come up with an alternative that is fiscally sound, I will most certainly do that. But we are going to be, and Mr. Morgan can attest, because we've had this conversation, we'll be looking at budgeting for one for 2027. Scout's honor.
I'd like to add to just that remark about the streets. So another alternative, which might be strange to some, is to sweep in front of your house. I will say, and this past weekend, as I don't just do in front of my house, I do my block, around the corner, down the block, and I live on a street that catches a lot of debris. And it bothers me to come home and see my street looking like that in my neighborhood. So I don't mind getting my broom and my gloves. The supplies are here. We are willing to let people have supplies if you want to take part in what the neighborhood looks like while we are down a street sweeper. And I was at a meeting in Darby Borough a couple weeks ago, and the street sweeper was coming, and there was a woman outside her house sweeping her property. And I just don't see enough people. I know Miss Felicia takes care of her property out front and sweeps. That's an alternative for us who are just upset about the level of trash. It is real, it's not made up. There is a lot of debris around, but that's an alternative. Somebody drove by and they said, thanks for the hard work. And then someone else who likes to complain drove by and looked away. So it's just about what way we want to care about our neighborhood, in my opinion. And I know, Ms. Hunter, you take care of your property often, and you often deal with debris that's not yours, but you take care of it. So there's an alternative in the meantime that we can, as citizens of this borough, contribute to how it looks while the trash situation is very real. And we are aware of that. If there's any effort that individuals can make, that would also help. Thank you for your comment. Ms. Hunter, have your card?
I just have a question about the recycling program. I don't need it like this. If we are not recycling and to save money so that we can have a better street sweeper, why not do away with the recycling? Because there are many days when trash is not picked up on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, on the recycling day, they're putting the trash, the waste, with the recycling. So recycling really isn't happening. So why are we having recycling day when we're not recycling our trash? To me, it would be smarter to do away with recycling if we're not really doing that and save money for that third day and just have trash days for 2 days. The other thing about the electric bikes, I complained about the bikes when I was a crossing guard, and I got pushed back saying that I was exaggerating. It's not just children riding the bikes on the pavement. There are grown men riding bikes on the pavement. Because I almost got ran over several times standing on my corner by children and by grown men who gave me attitude because I didn't get out of their way quick enough. So that's something that really needs to be looked into, especially if going forward, we're going to be seeing that growth. And also, as far as the sweeper, our taxes are increasing every year for services that we're not getting. I have a problem with that. That's it.
Thank you for your comment.
And also, I just want to say one other thing, because I didn't do it my 3 minute time. I want to refer to the fact that council not being involved. I think that's ridiculous, because I've been coming to these meetings for 22 years now. And we have people that come to these meetings that have something going on in their life that they're upset about. They come to the meeting, they cry at the meeting, you guys help them out, and then they never come back again. So you can't blame council for grown people who don't want to get involved in their community. I think that's BS. That's just my personal opinion.
Thank you so much for your comment, Ms. Hunter. I want to just address the trash and recycling concern. I think there might be some avenue for us to, so if the recycling is left out and not pulled back, so I pull my recycling back on, if they don't come on Wednesday, but when it's left out on Thursday, they will just dump it with the regular trash. I do think it's a question that we can ask H&H about recycling, and maybe in the town hall meeting that we're looking to have, we can gauge from the community, well, first finding out, are we truly recycling?
Because I think recycling is phenomenal, and we should be doing it. But if we're not, why waste that money?
Right. And so what I look to find out is, are we taking it to, is it really truly being recycled, right? When they take it to the dump on recycling day, and then from the community, are we vested in recycling? If it means taking it away would reduce our trash bill and then leave funding for other things. So a question to the trash company to find out, is it truly recycling? And then a question to the public on how do we want to keep doing that, I think, and Kyle just.
Well, if we were truly recycling before, when we were in a recycling program and it was working, we were getting a credit for that. If we're not getting a credit, then we're not recycling.
Okay. I agree that there are answers to be found out for us, what we're doing there.
Because we could better use our money. Because I really would like to see the street. I mean, I clean up my block twice a week. I cut my grass. I'll be 71 in July. I clean up my whole block because nobody else on my block, they may take care of the grass, but no one gets out there and sweep. I sweep for Coach Street.
And then to your question on the e-bikes, again, I will defer to the mayor since that is going to be, the enforcement will be on law enforcement, how to regulate e-bikes on sidewalks. I did attend a safety meeting that the county held a couple months ago, and we were talking about e-bikes and proposed legislation around it. And the police that did speak, and I forget what town it was in Delco that had a death of a child on an e-bike, and it was Harrison, and they were proposing some new legislation, but the police were talking about the difficulty of enforcing. So I don't have more information on how it would look for us. I defer to Mayor Booker or Interim Chief Johnson to address that.
Yeah, I can speak on that. Bike safety is a major concern. And a lot of bike safety issues come from not so much the enforcement, because a bike can basically come out of nowhere. Individual responsibility is part of it. The knowledge that bicycles aren't even supposed to drive on the pavement. That's in the entire state of Pennsylvania. That's an overarching rule, but some communities miss that and don't know you're not supposed to ride your bike on the pavement. In Philadelphia, or the sidewalk, I'm sorry, on the sidewalks, you're not supposed to drive your bicycle on the sidewalk. In the city of Philadelphia, it's commonplace to drive on the sidewalk. It's actually illegal there too. The problem is, you necessarily would need a police officer on every corner to monitor and be able to watch it. By the time they get there, they have to kind of catch up to a person. All you can really focus on is informing people, but when the officer's there, it can be easily addressed. But it's a lack of understanding, a lack of information, and to some degree, I wish, as a parent myself, and as a friend of many friends who are parents, you informing your children your bicycle has to be ridden in the street, and also valuing your child is reminding them to understand that your bicycle, if it doesn't have reflectors or lights, you are potentially endangering your child from a person that may not see your child while entering an intersection. Your safety and the love of your child is keeping them informed so that they know they can make rational decisions. As adults, it's even more poignant to understand that a car may not be able to see you due to blind spots. There has to be some understanding amongst your individual life and the knowledge of moving around safely. It's an informational thing. Mr. Felder had an informational communication about it last year. I forget when it was, but he actually mentioned it during a council meeting about you're supposed to not ride your bike on the street, on the sidewalk. You're supposed to ride in the street. And for e-bikes are classified as Class 3 vehicles. Therefore, it's illegal for them to be driven on the sidewalk because they're actually motorcycles. You can't drive motorcycles on the sidewalk. I've seen people with Vespas drive on the sidewalk, not knowing how illegal it is, against traffic. A bicycle is supposed to follow the same traffic patterns and same traffic rules as everyone else.
Well, Mr. Hill, that's something you can do because you have events for young people, and maybe you could bring up something like that at your events. But you have a good response with young people.
It's all about these new classifications and people getting hurt. Not only those that's getting hit on the sidewalk as pedestrians, there's also the youth that's actually using those apparatuses without body protection. So it's an educational process. And
absolutely,
it's two ways.
Yes.
And even with the community participating and keeping the community clean, it's a two-way process. We all got to get out there, and we all take care of that number one, and it all add up. It adds up to a community taking care of something. And if your neighbor can't, give them some assistance. That's all that matters. If care is bottled into blame, we'll never get nothing done. If care is bottled with love and help, we won't have no problem.
So, two things. Mr. White, can we talk afterwards?
No. We talk in the public to answer each other's question. I just want to respond to what you said.
Okay.
In the public.
Okay.
So, can I respond?
Can you stop the clock, please?
Set the clock. I don't have a few seconds. Don't need to be a minute. I just want to say first, thank you. Thank you from here and listening to one of your residents and sharing a response. And you also acknowledge some of the stuff might not be true, but thank you for listening and thank you for reacting to it the way you do. That's what you're supposed to do as a council person. One of the things about this council, and people don't like that, is the rumors. There's a lot of rumors and innuendos going around. I don't listen to rumors and innuendos. I want my council to be my council. So when you shut people down and say what was not irrelevant or whatever, that you didn't do that, and I appreciate you for not doing that. And if you need me to help you get residents, because some residents, like this lady said, some residents, when you help them, then they don't come back. Because they don't come back don't mean they ain't interested. We helped somebody around the corner. She didn't ever come back here because she didn't have another issue. But she sent 5 other residents to us that had issues. So because they don't come back don't mean they're not concerned. I'm just saying keep up what you're doing around there, keep the involvement, keep the people you listen, and then things will get better. When the resident council don't listen or don't want to listen or want to shut people down, is when people don't get concerned. So you can have like 50 community meets or whatever, and people don't want to be involved with the council, they're not going to come. So keep your heart open and keep your head open and listen to people no matter what it is, and then people don't get involved. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. The one thing, and this is a resolution to what Ms. Donna, what you said. This is about the bikes that are like going on the sidewalk. I'm not sure. Maybe speak to the solicitor, Madam President, and the borough manager about this and council. Maybe we can, like how we have the signs like "Child at Play." Maybe in different areas we can have signs like "No bikes on the sidewalk." Because listen, everybody is not. Some people still are going to do it, but it's going to deter some people from doing it as much. Like just a sign. Like how they have in Philly. Like when you're driving, they give you 2 blocks before that camera. Take a picture of your car going over 25 miles per hour.
I wish we had
that. If we have that in some places, because there are children on Poplar, they live on the corner of Poplar. I know who, like if some of our residents drive down Poplar, they go to their block, they see there's a corner house. And that's where all of the kids be. Like it reminds me where I grew up. And they on bikes, they on electric bikes, they on regular scooters, and they going across the street. So more definitely we need child play. What's that sign called?
You need a slow.
Yeah. So we need something right there. But just as a resolution for the electric bikes, we just maybe have some signs in certain places saying, no bikes no electric bikes on the sidewalk. And I don't know, solicitor, maybe, after we can probably talk about that or something. I don't know what we got to do with that. Yeah. Right. And that's my time.
When I used to teach youth, and it's funny, we talked about this very thing about jaywalking, and I actually told my youth, when you cross the street, what do you do? They told me they were looking at the light. I always told them a light never hit nobody. You gotta watch the cars. You gotta look at the cars coming in all directions until you feel safe to go. But you just can't watch lights. And we was taught to watch the light. And we want to do what we were taught. So it's a lot that needs to come to help us out with this. Because there's a new environment coming and we need to prepare ourselves for it.
Thank you, Councilor Felder. Okay, so there are no other public comment cards. Is there any other public comment? Yes, ma'am.
We talking bicycles, like regular bicycles?
Both.
An 8-year-old is supposed to ride a regular bicycle on the street?
Yes. Sadly enough.
Man, you're in a different world than I grew up in.
It's just,
Ever let a kid drive a bike? My kid ain't relevant.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I thought that part was insane as well. Just in the full honesty, full transparency, child safety. I didn't let my daughter ride in the street unless I was 2 feet away from her. I would literally sprint down the street with her on a bike.
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious watching me sprint. That looks like I'm chasing a kid. But the whole point is, we have to be monitoring our children for their safety. If they learn to ride the bike, of course, on the sidewalk, it's good for a while, but then the time comes when they have to transition on. Once you're going from that training wheels, having someone to give them the instruction and the training of understanding, hey, wear your helmet. When you're going into the street, understand the cars may not see you when you're sliding through the street. When you're going between cars, be careful, be aware. People may turn their head for just a moment, just a second. Even going 20 miles an hour may be enough to injure a child completely. The vigilance of the community, like Mr. Felder said, community will help our children. If you're taking your child on Chester Pike to ride their bike, you need to make sure your child is well aware and well trained in that environment. When the bicycle crew goes out, Madam President was riding her bike the other day. She's riding in the street. She's not on the sidewalk. Now, there's a difference between children and adults. But as adults, if as a community, we are watching these kids, we can help them move on that transition. It's training wheels, then it's in the street. And that's the huge difference is we have to go back and go from A to B. And if they're riding the electric bikes, that's a car. That's a motorcycle. Those things can go up to 40, 50 miles an hour. And as an adult, if I'm giving my child a vehicle that can go 40 miles an hour, am I preparing them for the responsibility of going 40 miles an hour as opposed to the 5, 6 miles an hour you're going by pedal power? Huge difference, huge safety measure. I saw kids riding there doing wheelies in the middle of the street the other day onto oncoming traffic. Now, this wasn't here, but safety measures. Safety starts with internally knowing that you matter. As adults, we teach our kids that they matter. Maybe they won't be out doing wheelies in the middle of the street, risking their lives for something that is fun, just to cause a bunch of accidents. They don't know, they aren't aware, and unfortunately, it's a sign of that no one's there to love them, to talk to them, and tell them not to. So this is a community issue. I personally take my daughter to the bike park to train her. And I know like we're in a different time, but we're also more vigilant time with more problems that we see every day, more dangers than we ever knew of from when we grew up. So for safety's sake, we got to be aware. We got to train them. We can't have them running into the nice neighbor, the nice 90-year-old neighbor at the same time. We have to teach everybody to love and respect and be mindful of those actions. So it's a lot, but there's ways. The biggest thing is monitoring them. That's all. Sorry, taking over right time.
Just one
Okay,
question, Madam President.
Yes, sir.
Are they on the corridor? Are they suggesting, since we're talking about the bikes, are they suggesting with the corridor going all the way down a bike lane?
So the Bike the Pike is actually not on the pike. It is a wayfinding that goes through our neighborhoods and found streets that have lower volumes of traffic so that you can get through but without having to be in the heavy traffic. So this did not include any discussion of bike lanes. Now, a separate project of Chester Pike Corridor Improvement Partners has been surveying areas of Chester Pike to consider where some bike lanes could go. because there are cyclists that do use that use Chester Pike. They just go straight up and down. And we have had some inquiries from people about spurs. How can we connect this trail or this wayfinding to other parts, like the College Creek bike pathway, and then the new one that Philadelphia is building that will go all the way to the airport. So more on that, but this particular project doesn't actually go down Chester Pike, it's through the neighborhoods. Thank you for your question. Any other public comment? Okay. Hearing no other public comment, we'll move to new business.
No, I'm good. They told me, I think I got my answer concerning, I have a raccoon and a skunk that's visiting my yard, so I was gonna ask, who do I call? Who would I deal with concerning that?
Yeah, you can call.
We can call somebody in favor.
The closest one is Delaware County Animal Control, and they're actually located right in Darby. And they will help with, private residence issues. They're not contracted with the county.
You got good company.
I
had some too. Bessie the skunk. He releases and it just permeates through my house. Yes. I don't care if I put the windows down. It'll come in.
That's not one more. Okay, thank you for your question. So we'll move now into our new business. Council, we need a motion to ratify the appointment of interim police chief Sharon Johnson.
So moved.
Moved and
Second.
Thank you.
Who made the motion? Who?
Everybody.
Councilor Felder, motion, and Councilor Patrick, second. Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we ratify the appointment of interim police chief Sharon Johnson. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thank you, Council.
Can I say just a thank you, Sean? Appreciate you stepping up and doing such an amazing job.
Thank you guys for the opportunity.
So there's a lot of murmuring in the back corner of the room about no introduction of interim police chief Sharon Johnson. Mayor Booker, would you like to do an introduction? At this time, we do have a ceremonial swearing in schedule, but
Yeah, the ceremony schedule is going to be the legislative meeting. Yes.
Question.
You can just say who he is.
Is no longer with us? I know y'all say he was an interim, but, so it's gonna be finalized today, the other chief is gone?
You're not allowed to know.
He retired?
I'm just asking the question. My understanding is that he was interim until the other chief was on medical leave or something. That's why I say with no information, you don't know what's going on. So is he gone or is he on medical leave?
if I may, the questions that you're asking, I feel are valid as citizens who know the chief and care for him. However, that is a personnel matter, and there are things that we are not at liberty to discuss because that's that man's personal business. So I understand the question, I appreciate it, and I understand a lot of us want to know the standing. But there are things that we're just not able to share, and it is a personnel matter. And I do want to just say that so I don't know that, I know that doesn't satisfy wanting to know his business, but from the perspective that we can't deliver it to you, please understand this is why you haven't heard any formal comment on Chief Herron's standing.
I don't want to know his business. His business is not my business. What I'm saying is, if there's a big move,
yes, I understand, sir.
Move like this, and then that's why I talk about involvement in the community, and the community knows. If there's a major move like this and we don't know, we don't understand what happened, we're not clear on what happened, and the police department is changing, we have a right to be informed of that information.
I understand your question.
So I'm saying, so you're telling me you guys are just gonna take the chief out, no explanation to us, and then put an interim chief in, which I have nothing against you. I'm just saying the explanation and the description and the information that we need
If I may.
need to be
Absolutely.
known.
Thank you. I'm going to respond. Thank you. I do understand what you're sharing. So tonight's meeting is a public meeting. This is our opportunity to address it. What we are doing in this meeting is we are informing the public that there is a personnel matter involving the current Chief Sharon that we cannot discuss on this floor. However, it is the responsibility of this council to ensure that they put an interim chief in place to make sure that operations within the station and the department continue. That is what is happening this evening. The most that we can share with you again is that there is a personnel matter with our current Chief Sharon, of which council cannot discuss because it is personnel. However, council has the responsibility to ensure that the house doesn't burn because there's an emergency. And placing an interim chief is the responsibility of council to ensure that there are operations continue to flow, man coverage is still happening for the borough, responses are still taking place, and that's what this leadership is doing this evening. There's nothing more that we can share. I know that there are articles out. If you notice, the response has always been that there is no response. Tonight, the response is there is no response. What we have to do, though, is we have to put in an interim person so that all of the officers know who they're supposed to report to, and that's what's happening this evening. As Madam President was attempting to say, there will be a formal swearing in where all of this detectives who will now serve as our interim chief family can acknowledge his rise, if you will, to take on the mantle of leading the department, which I think is something that is special and important to him. And there will also be an opportunity for all of the other officers to acknowledge that this council had to take action and put an interim person in place, and this was the person that was chosen. I hope that that satisfies. I know that you want to know more, but there's nothing more that we can share with you this evening. It's an action that has to happen. If there was something where there was a member of this council who could no longer serve, this council would equally have to take the same position and fill that spot so that there isn't a vacancy, so that power can equally be shared and we can ensure that operations for the borough happens. That's all that we can share, and I thank you, and I hope that that was enough to satisfy everyone for this evening to understand that this is not personal, this is business, and this is how this council has to conduct business. Thank you.
I got that, but I guess my point would be, we didn't just get here. So I didn't know anything concerning this until, you're saying this tonight. So what was the procedure of saying to the public, we now have to find an interim?
Yeah.
Or we have these candidates as an interim in the process? Because what I'm hearing is there was no particular, there was a process, but it was only one man that's actually being chosen. And there were not several that might have been looked at to be considered for the interim.
And that's why we're using the word interim, because we want to address the bleed. Just think hypothetically with me.
Okay.
We want to address the bleed, make sure that we're not bleeding out. So we put someone interim so that we can we can do a search. There's more things that will come after this. It's just, hopefully, again, you understand that this is a personnel matter. So unfortunately, we can't just go out and say, we got to do X, Y, and Z. But through this proceeding, this is how this council is choosing to handle this. And that's why we're installing an interim person so that we can go through the full process and install a more permanent person to fill that role should that become necessary.
If I may, I'm sorry, Mr. White, may I just interject because we are not in public comment, and this is why we don't have any order in our meetings. The level of interceding over business is why we can't have any order in the meeting. And it's the lack of respect that goes forward by the citizens that expect respect.
So if the community knew what was going on, we probably would support it. If we don't know, then it seems like a game to us. You see what I'm saying? It seems like a game to us. This Mr. Solicitor, I understand, I respect you. I would love to hear from you about what's going on, because we don't want to know what actions y'all taking. We're just shocked at what's going on and nobody knows.
I think we have, as a community, I've been here about 20 years. I sat right there where you are. Because I became part of this community, I decided to join into it. Come to meetings, join the library, join the youth advisory committee. I did a lot of things. So now I sit here because I care. When things happen in a community, there may seem to be a vacuum, but it's certain things that we as legislators cannot do. Just like certain things with evidence, or the police department have to make an arrest to do some things. They cannot just say, this is why. It's a personnel matter. That is something that is so inclusive among this board as an executive committee. So it's things we can say and not say. It may come out general. It cannot be specific.
Okay.
You're looking for specifics.
We're
giving you the general answer that you may not like, but you're not going to get no more than the general answer until we as a body feel comfortable with giving out more information to make this community more informed.
And I got you. What I'm saying is, I've worked with council boards in New Orleans, the New Orleans City Council. I work with all of them.
Sir, this is not a personal matter. This is a councilmatic employee situation that we just can't expose.
We're informed.
You are informed. You're being informed right now that we have an interim chief. We have an interim chief that's taken the helm of our prior chief for reasons we can't explain, other than tell you it's a personnel issue. And if you respect the process, then you'll respect the answer.
I would just like to go forward with the business on the agenda, and then I would love to circle back after we get through our business items on the lack of decorum and the mutual respect that should be had for the council chambers. But at this time, I'm going to ask council for a motion to authorize the advertising of updates to the property maintenance ordinance.
Second.
We moved and seconded that we authorize the advertising of updates to the property maintenance ordinance. Any discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Okay, thank you. Council, we need a motion to authorize advertising the update to the finalized food establishment ordinance.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we authorize advertising updates to the finalized food establishment ordinance. Any discussion?
Solicitor, we're gonna basically email you with, okay.
I'm hoping to get our committee's response first, and then once we incorporate those changes, we'll send out to the remainder of council and make sure it's aligned with everyone's objectives.
All right.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of authorizing advertising of the updates to the finalized food establishment ordinance, please say aye.
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 Opposed, say no. Motion passes. Thanks, council. Council, we need a motion to approve the April 2nd, 2026 caucus meeting minutes.
Motion.
I'm sorry, Madam President, it's the Dogo Tourism Grant. We amended.
Yeah, I had that last, after the minutes.
Oh.
I voted it. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Moved.
Motion.
And.
Second.
Because you usually don't motion.
Yes, I don't usually take a motion for the minutes. The question would be, are there any corrections to the minutes? But I did call for the motion. So are there any corrections to the minutes at this time? Okay, hearing none. Since I did call for the motion, I do need to take the vote. So all in favor of approving the April 2nd, 2026 caucus meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
Can I just ask who first and second for the minutes?
Councilor Felder?
No.
Oh, was it
Me
Councilor
first.
VP?
And I think Councilman Patrick second.
Thank you. I was thrown off. I'm sorry.
So, thank you. And then the last item, which is the one we amended the agenda to include, which is the approval of the resolution for support of the Visit Delco Tourism Grant application. Is there a motion?
A motion.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution for the support of the Visit Delco Tourism Grant application. Any discussion?
Yes, is that the grant that I asked you to look into? Because I think that's part of it.
It may be. This was something that
Well,
came from Madam President.
Well, I hope it's separate because that means we can get a double whammy out of it.
We will see.
Because the other one's supposed to be for tourism, beautification, and community improvement.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing no other discussion, all in favor of approving the resolution for support of the Visit Delco Tourism Grant application, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Just two items under old business. Traffic calming. We have not received updates, I think, on the street studies, the speed studies that were being conducted. So we'll circle back to that when we have some info on those.
Sure. Yes, I will get you that information as soon as I have it available to me, which I should have within the next week. I just wanted to make a comment that there will be strategic placement of patrol officers and marked vehicles along Chester Pike corridor, as well as, the side streets, the unit blocks, and what have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is traffic calming. And then the other item that I wanted to add to old business council was the date for the town hall. And I'll roll that into the discussion that I asked that we circle back to at after our new business was squared away. And so what we do in this council chambers, in 3 minutes for public comment, and asking residents to wrap up their comments in 3 minutes, is not unique to Sharon Hill Borough. You can see it in any other place. You can see it at the county council meetings. People make their comments, and then when their time is up, they respect the chambers, they respect their fellow neighbors and citizens, and they yield in conversation. The nature of just back and forth and acting like this is a living room and we're all talking is just not how business goes forward in other places. And we didn't set the standard. It's what we would expect. Now, the ask for more conversation has been raised before. 3 minutes isn't enough time. This is the business meeting where it's enough time to tell us what you need so we can action it. We have, like Mayor Booker said, he's going to be outside. He's done that in the past. We've held open office hours where we invite people in. We do walk and talk. We may not knock on every door, but there are some newly elected councilors that maybe can say how many doors you've knocked since you've been elected, how many doors you've been able to get to because you're doing the business of the borough now, but you still engage with your citizens, right, through your projects and things like that. So there's room for us we've been talking about furthering and broadening our communication with the community. We talked about this digital sign that's down. The Block Captains initiative came out of our knowing we have to reach more people. So that they can have insights, not insights into personnel matters, but just what's going on in the borough, right? So we are working on communication, but the standard for council chambers and the meetings is set that way, not by us. Again, I want to say that because there's a lot of anger toward the council about not letting us have dialogue back and forth. We have items on the agenda that we won't get to if we just do that. I am open, as I always have been, and I can't even go to the dollar store because I enjoy conversations that I have with all of my neighbors when I see them and when I just walk the neighborhood. But I'm open to new ways for us to have better communication. We've been talking about it for the longest time, but in terms of the meeting and how it goes forward, the need to be respectful of each other and the chambers is paramount. We could then start looking like the other communities that have a lot of shouting back and forth over each other that turns into cuss words being yielded at different counselors and to each other as neighbors. And that's not the look that Sharon Hill wants. That's not the branding that this council has been trying to work towards. We have managed to have respectful meetings. I would love for it to continue. And I would love for us to keep hearing from our neighbors. And just because Ronnie didn't talk to my neighbor doesn't mean he didn't talk to 10 other neighbors. So anything that we can do to increase the communication on top of the efforts we've been trying, we're open to it. I just want to remind people of the standard of this room. It existed before any of us got here. It's the standard that you see in other places of government business. And in other places, they shut microphones off at 3 minutes. They don't let people keep going. We've always said, if you could just wrap up, because we don't want to cut people off. But if anyone disagrees with that standard and wants us to establish a new one, I would say bring it to the floor and we can talk about how it benefits every citizen and not just the individual who wants to talk over their time and then have back and forth, how it benefits every citizen and the business of the borough. And then it can certainly be entertained if there's a different standard that we want to explore. And I am open to comments to what I just said, that statement, because I don't want to just be a one and done. I sincerely mean it. If there's a better standard or a different standard that council you would like us to explore for this borough and how we do our meetings, I'm open to listening.
The bottom line in everything that we do as a communicative community and talking is respect and courtesy. I don't care what rule you bring in. If you don't have respect and courtesy and dialogue, we have to learn sometime that I'm a mental health therapist by profession. There's a difference between right and correct. And we got to know that difference. Some people look for right and they accept it, but it may not be correct. Sometimes we have to say that is satisfying, but it's not total. Because if somebody giving you a limit, you got to accept that boundary. And sometimes we go beyond the boundary, we want more. It's like keep squeezing an orange and lemon when it done dried out. There's nothing left. Until more information come in that is a comfortability zone that we can pass it on. Things happen so fast among this body, and I think I'm the one that's been sitting here the longest. I have been. There's so much stuff that passes through this 10-body legislation. It's mind-boggling. Even, I don't, like the person I feel most concerned for is our borough manager. We come here once a month, sit up here and read reports, pass legislation, and do what we can to move this borough forward. That is our primary job, to move this borough forward, to make sure it's operating in a functional, proficient way, and we doing it legal, and we doing it right. It may not be correct, but it's right.
You represent the community.
And we're trying to show that.
Y'all represent the community.
And we're doing that. Now, I'm going to tell you about me. I'm not knocking on no more doors.
Don't knock.
I done did my door knocking.
Yeah.
I would like to see the community become more engaged in participation. And each person that may walk through that door can only bring in their concerns. They can't bring in somebody else's and speak for that person. They have to bring in their concerns. Somebody might have the same issue, but they may not have the same perspective about that issue. So we need to hear from people that got concerns. I remember we used to have a suggestion box in the back. Because it wasn't being filled, it was taken out. We got phone systems put in that goes to different agents that we contract with. That way you won't bottleneck our assistant with all the calls. So if you call it for trash, it goes directly to trash or sanitation. If you want to talk to the code person, it will go straight to them. We have email. We have the website, and we have telephones. We are accessible as civilization makes us. And all of us is open. And I think the community need to use that to their benefit. We may not have your answer, but we will try to find some kind of solution to help you out. We may not fix the problem. Half fixed is almost fixed. A little bit of information is great information if you can understand it. And that's all we ask, is for understanding. And in the medium of what we're doing to execute our jobs, courtesy and respect.
Can I get the U.S. Attorney's name from you, Mr. Fielders, as you gave me the whole list? Can I get the U.S. Attorney's name from you?
You can talk after.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I've been listening to the gathering, and I've been puzzled because it's been communicated that we're not reachable. And I asked myself a few questions. One question I asked myself was the Sharon Hill Borough website, was it down? No, it's not down. The Sharon Hill Borough calendar, which communicates information of upcoming events, is it down? No, it's not down. Do they have a roster of all the available council members with a number and an email where you can communicate with them directly? It's available. So to get all this toxic energy, I'm confused. So to piggyback on what Councilman Felder said, the tools are in place. We just have to take advantage of the opportunity and communicate effectively. All this over-the-top emotion, we don't need that. We're here to solve problems. We're all here to make the community better. That's our focus. So that's all I have.
Are you responding to me? I just want to know.
I'm speaking to the community.
Okay, I mean, y'all seem like y'all talking directly to me, so that's why I'm responding. I'm a resident.
There is a time, and we welcome all of your comments, Mr. White, but there is a time during the meeting for it, and we passed it. But we definitely welcome all of your comments, as we always have. The idea that we should just keep extending, and then it makes it more difficult because other members of the community then choose to be very angry when the clock goes off and we ask them to wrap up, but then someone else has taken 6 and 7 minutes because they choose to keep going back and forth. It makes it hard to actually hold the standard of the meeting. So we're just asking that use your 3 minutes. If you choose to take another 3 minutes after everyone has spoken or take advantage of any of the other opportunities that we have said are available, that is perfect so that we can make sure we're not missing any of your comments. So I'm gonna just go to the next point was on town hall. And I appreciate what you said, Bill, about the 90 days. So about maybe a month or so ago, I put the day out of May 23rd for town hall. Counselors, I didn't get an affirmation from everyone for availability, but for the sake of the public, I'm willing to push it back so that we can get more people. We had a good amount of people at the last town hall, but if you think it's worth pushing it further out.
What was the date?
It was May 23rd was the day we were targeting, and we talked to the department heads about being available and sharing out what's new and happening in their departments, but we can certainly move it out so that we have more time to share information.
Is that close to Memorial Day?
Yeah, it's Memorial Day weekend.
Is it the week that?
Yeah, it's Memorial Day weekend.
It's the weekend before.
I thought it's 25th Memorial Day.
Yeah, 25th is Memorial Day.
So then let's just do that.
Actually, if you, I think why not both? If you need me to be available, if that's the day you want to talk, I'll talk that day. I'm not gonna not be available to you because that's what we talked about earlier. You pick a time. If we can get this on camera, get as many people as they can to come see me or where I can be available to them. Game is just let's go because I want to make sure that what you said about us being available, I hear you. And the thing about hearing you is when I say, hey, I'm begging people to join the block captains meetings, begging them. It's that situation here where come talk to me. I'm available to you. And if the 23rd is available, hey, I actually took that week off. So I'll be available. I'll be available the week after, whatever is needed. Because that's the whole point is, I'm just trying to be available. You know me. You need me, you call me, and I've made that same communication to residents. You need me, call me. I'm here to talk. I'm not hiding out. You know, the hardest thing about some situations are when you are in a situation where you legally are binded that you cannot say anything, you can't say nothing. It's an oath. I take this as a man, when I take an oath, I hold that oath to my life. And that's a hard thing for some people to understand. I legally cannot say anything. It's not a shot in the dark at you or anybody else. I'm sorry. The oath is the oath. I signed up for it when I signed that paperwork. When I became the mayor, that oath meant I can't say anything, no matter what the situation is. All I can do is maintain the integrity that I hope you understand I have, and I hope I've communicated to all of you. So if you want to talk to me about anything else that I can legally talk to you about, I'm going to be available. Mostly everybody who comes to this office, in this room right here, has my phone number and can reach me at any moment. Literally, everyone in this room has my number. Yeah. And I want residents to come here. Sorry, Ms. Pat, you should have my number. We'll fix that. But reach out to me. Everybody here should have my number. Ms. Pat, you're going to have my number at the end of this meeting. Because if you come up, you show up, I'm going to make sure you have this number to reach me. All right? That's what we're doing as a community. I have a phone, literally, it's called my hotline to you all. You call that number, I know exactly this is residents. And I set it up for this reason, that I want to make sure availability is not a thing we hide from. But we got to make sure integrity, you got to make sure that the ship is right sized when things go crazy or things go awry. I know the council is doing everything in the best possible to do everything as loving and caring for the community as possible. No matter what, there's some things we just can't communicate on, we can't say for legal reasons. Not because we don't love you, not because we hate you, not because there's some weird thing going on, because they legally just can't. And that's hard.
Thank you, Madam President.
At this conclusion, I was just going to go back to okay, thank you. So I did not realize that the 23rd is the holiday weekend and there may be people away. I'm sorry. No, it's a flower.
Oh.
I appreciate your concern, though. I do. I promise you, I appreciate the concern. I didn't realize the 23rd is the holiday weekend, and because people may not yet be available, we will reschedule and look for a new date so that we can have this town hall. We did have plans to share out a lot of information and answer a lot of questions. So I will hold on that. I'll share that our next meeting is the legislative meeting on Thursday, May 21st, 2026. And our quote of the meeting is, sometimes the strength of motherhood is greater than natural laws. And that's by novelist Barbara Kingsolver. And I would like to wish the good moms a happy Mother's Day this weekend, and for everyone celebrating or who loves anybody's mom. Happy Mother's Day for my moms. At this time,
You ever get on the floor?
yeah.